Hi, Pratham.
So, what inspired you to become a career counselor and coach?
Okay, hi, Pratham. Thank you for this podcast, and I'm happy that you're taking initiatives, extending the leadership coaching learnings that we are having as a part of your leadership program. So let me just go back and debrief very quickly. I am a BCom from NM College, done an MBA marketing from NMIMS, batch of 2001, about 25 years back. Into education very early on. I dabbled with writing articles for career magazines, used to work with a career counseling company where I used to write answers, people's queries in Bombay Times and Education Times, and then got into helping the MBA students, which is essentially the CAT aspirants, crack their MBA entrance test. So we had a CAT, we had a CET, we had an XLRI entrance test, and a lot of other things.
All
So the
right.
verbal ability section is what I used to coach for, along with cracking the group discussions, personal interviews, profile development, personality development, structuring the resume. All these things were a part of the profile that I had, along with I was heading the marketing for Mumbai region for the test prep company. Now, the idea, of course, was to help that 99 percentile convert, a 99.5 percentile score that, and then eventually convert. Joined an EdTech company. I'm talking as a content author. Grew through the ranks in 11 and a half years and left the company as a business head in 2019. Left to pursue my doctorate in Sydney, Australia. Bag, baggage, wife, kid, everybody left. We had planned for everything, didn't plan for COVID. COVID hit badly, and we had to make a difficult decision to come back. And we came back within 6 months. And that's where I started thinking that, you know what, in the edtech, I was sucked onto the business side of things. I always used to love mentoring students in my earlier, coaching them, counseling them in their MBA test prep, and used to do that as a part of the EdTech role also, where used to do seminars in various cities, do online webinars to mentor students. But I got sucked, as I said, onto the business side of things, and I always wanted to go back to teaching, counseling, coaching, which I used to enjoy, and that's where the idea of PhD came in. So when we came back from Australia, I was thinking, how can I get back to it outside of the doctorate? And that's where Edupathwayz started in 2021. So
21.
January 2021 is when we started. We are about roughly 4 years, 9 months into it. And I believe we've been doing a reasonably all right job in mentoring, counseling, coaching, helping students make informed career decisions, building profile, etc. So to answer your question, the reason of giving this background is for you to get to know where it all started. It was always a part of what I did, what I enjoyed doing, what I believed I was meant to do. It just segued into doing something outside of formal academics.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can say that leadership coaching has actually helped me a lot. For context, I'm doing a leadership course from Edupathwayz. Mr. Rahul is taking these sessions himself. So, on that note, I would like to ask you, are you the one taking all of the sessions?
Yeah, so I understand that personalization, involvement, and giving students and parents exactly what they want is what is required. And that is the reason all the sessions, whether it is leadership coaching year-long program, mastering English year-long program, career counseling, which is one-on-one, profile building, which is one-on-one, or personal mentoring, which is one-on-one, all sessions are taken by me. Of course, I have a team which is supporting me, who's helping with research, content creation, scheduling, logistics, a lot of things in the background. The
But
face of the entire EduPathways enterprise is me. And I don't plan to change that in the near future.
all right. Okay. So just let's rewind back to 2021, where this all started. How was that first session? How are you feeling?
So, so it was peak COVID, and the idea of starting it was completely online. I started with three programs at that point of time: leadership coaching, career counseling, and personal mentoring. A lot of family and friends, I was directly, indirectly helping them mentoring their kids. So they came and enrolled their kids for the program. Especially leadership coaching is what we started with. Career counseling was also something where parents came to me. Before that, I went through a formal certification of 3.5 months with a career counseling company. so that there is a structure, there is a process, there is a proper psychometric assessment being done. So it's a systematic approach that was done before launching in January 2021. I laid the foundation for 6 months, from July 2020 to December 2020, before jumping into starting it off. It's being an interesting journey. So in my earlier avatar, I was handling students in the 20 to 26-year-old space, people who are preparing for their MBA entrance test. And this is more like a backward integration, where from 20 to 26, I'm going to a 10 to 19-year-old student space. And there's also a little bit of a history and a reason behind it. So in my faculty mentor avatar between 2020, 2002 3 to 2008, I used to mentor a lot of students, and I could distinctly see them in two different categories. One set was extremely good in packaging themselves, communication skills, presentation skills, English language skills. But you scratch the surface a little, especially in the interview round that they go for in the IMs. After level one, or perhaps sometimes level two of digging in answering, a lot of them lacked depth in what they said. Then there was the other types who was extremely hardworking, sincere, focused, detail oriented, knew their stuff, but was not able to package it well, communicate well, or was not able to put across the points in the most optimal fashion for the interviewers, or for the person on the other side to soak it in. Similar experience in my EdTech, where I spent about 11 and a half years, where when we used to recruit people, a lot of promise on the interview table, we go and look at ideas during our team meetings. It was all cut, copy, paste from online. And there were others who were not very good at convincing the candidature on the interview table, whom we still recruited, and they turned out to be phenomenal performers later on. So these two buckets are where largely a lot of students were. I believe they still are. The idea was that it was too late at the age of 22, 24, 26 to make a fundamental shift there. Now, if we were able to go back to a younger age and inculcate both deep content, deep understanding, sincerity, focus, along with presentation, packaging, communication, then it's best of both the worlds, and then the sky is the limit for personal growth. So that's where Edupathwayz came into being, and reverse integration happened from 20 to 26 years of age to 10 to 19 years of age.
Okay, all right. So, what is it about this particular age group that makes it so easy to coach, or not easy to coach, but that makes it practical to get leadership experience? Because I know nowadays, I mean, not nowadays, but in the past, students or even parents of students didn't think that they needed to go for leadership or needed to go for career counseling. This is a fairly recent thing, what to say.
Hmm.
So what makes this particular age group so important to learn leadership?
Right. So uh, let me start by saying that age group of 10 is where I start leadership. It usually coincides with grade 5. So we have batches of grade 5 and 6. We have batches of grade 7 and 8 separately. We have batches of grades 9 and 10 separately, and grades 11 and 12 separately. So your batch, we have largely students who are 10th graders and 11th graders in the batch, right? There's one 12th grader also. Uh, I think 10 years is also late to start leadership. And I'll tell you the reason why. Around the ages of 3, 4 to about 6, 7, 8, kids are sponges. They will soak in everything that you tell them with hardly any filter. And that is the time when the best of the learnings, best of the ideas, ethics, morality, habits can be inculcated the fastest. Okay. Go back to the scriptures, you go back to Abhimanyu, who was taught when he was in the womb, and a lot of things, stories around it. You'll realize that the earlier you start, the better it is to inculcate those ideas. Having said that, 10 years is the age where I believe the child has got reasonably decent understanding, and maturity starts building up from there, when we can inculcate those learnings in a fun learning environment. It's a year-long program, and the advantage of year-long program is, unlike those summer workshops you go to or a weekend workshop you go to, there is a reinforcement of learning, a reminder that needs to happen, so that From short-term memory and habit, it moves to a medium to a long-term memory. So I have seen enough and more outcomes where parents have come back after 2 years, after 3 years, and said that, that leadership learning that you did has helped him in this particular aspect here. So just a Mulund parent, the kid is in NES International. He is now in seventh grade. He did leadership with me when he was in fifth grade. And the parent called back and said they had gone for an event, a debating event in Jayashree Periwal International School in Jaipur. And she said all the learnings on ethics and current affairs that we did in fifth grade came in very handy to him in his debating skills to pick up things, learn probably 3x, 5x the speed at what others were picking up in seventh grade. And of course, time management and goal setting and critical thinking and problem solving and a lot of other areas, different parents have come back and said it has helped them differently. So it's to answer your question, it's been a very enlivening journey. I think young kids, young students come with a lot of enthusiasm and energy. What they need is channelizing in the right direction. Make them understand that nobody gains except themselves in this journey of self-development. And you dish it out in the language that they understand, the vocabulary that they accept, internalize, and then you'll see magic happening.
Yes, yes, that's very true. I'm a part of your leadership program, and I have to say it's been quite the experience. The lessons are very structured. There's a clear direction as to where you're going. Uh, so, like this, did this did this fluidity in the lessons, did this take time to develop, or did you have a plan from the first lesson?
So overall leadership coaching structure was made earlier. Okay. Fluidity is something that comes with experience. So broadly, you know what outcomes you want, what learning outcomes you want, what you want students to take home. How you want to deliver, how students will take it will depend on a lot of factors, including how tired they are after a long day at school. What is their mental model? Are they jittery today because there is some exam coming on, there's some competition coming on outside? Are they very open? So the delivery will completely depend on personalizing the experience in the class basis, what the energy is in the session. All sessions are online, so the energy needs to be gauged, and I think experience of 23 years in education somewhere helps.
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely true. Yeah. Considering the fact that you have 23 years of experience, over those 23 years, you've seen a lot of new methods that will help you coach leadership. So, how do you integrate that into your programs? Like, say, a new test comes up or say, a new psychological metric. How do you integrate that?
Yeah, so good, very good question, Pratham. So the basic building blocks of growth, success, excellence have remained similar, if not same, over the last 3 to 5,000 years since the time we know of civilization existing, at least documented civilization existing. So basic building blocks remain the same. What changes is the medium of delivery. What changes in the way it is dished out and the way it is accepted. So thanks to COVID, we are sitting right now. You are sitting at your home, and I'm sitting in my office, and we are doing comfortably doing this discussion and your podcast interview without blinking an eyelid. Right? You asked, you wanted to do it. I said yes. Let's go ahead. And neither of us even thought for a second that we are going to meet in person. It was understood it's going to be online, which was not the case. Sorry, which is not the case 5 years back. Right? So things have changed with respect to acceptance about the medium of instruction. There are new developments that keep coming in, but remember that new developments always build up on what was there as existing modus operandi. There is no fundamental something groundbreaking shift that happens. Whatever is the incremental shift that happens is always incorporated in the delivery in terms of understanding, in terms of knowledge transfer, or in terms of identifying which career options or what kind of profile you build to a university. Let me contextualize this with an example. Uh, so I have a student of IBDP2 from Jamnabai Nursery International School, Mumbai, who's with me. She's very interested in food sciences and biosciences. So I suggested, why don't you explore courses in computational biology? Very, very new concept. So the parents were a little apprehensive that computational means maths, and she, as somebody who's okay with math, I said, go and explore. So they will. I've fixed up an appointment with Shivnadar University for the parent to go. He saw the entire research labs, met with the faculty, and their orientation completely changed on new age program. So the take home was that it is building upon what she is already good at or passionate about, and it's just about taking it to next level. So whatever new areas, new things that come about are a couple of notches or a lot of notches incrementalism from where we are today. It's not a fundamental shift, right? We are not going and teaching on Mars suddenly where there's no oxygen. We are still talking of teaching in this day and age where students will continue to have their requirements, their needs, their demands, their moods, and their aspirations along with the parents. And that needs to be delivered in the fashion which helps them move to the next level or grow from there. So I don't know if I've answered your question. I'm giving a lot of background to every question that you're asking so that there is a context of what we are discussing.
No, it's I understood what you meant by that. So, since you're so involved with the life of your students and this course is for about a year, how do you quantify the success of your program?
So very good question. I get this question from all parents that what is the difference we'll see after a year and how will we know that this has changed in the kid? Will it be discernible? Will it be visible? Will we see it in terms of opportunities grabbed later on? So again, a little bit of background. I'm sorry, I'm giving you background everything, but I go by first principles thinking that Mr. Elon Musk always talks about. So there are two buckets that we have. One is the training bucket and one is the development bucket. So when you talk of training bucket, let's say somebody is learning to repair uh, a car. Okay, A/B testing is very clear. Before going through the 30-hour training, the person didn't know how to repair the car if it is stalled on the road on a highway. After 30 hours of training, the person is able to do some bits of correction and get the car up and running in certain areas. Very clearly, before, after. That's training. That is very clear. There are skills which are incorporated. It's a different bucket, different domain. Then there is a domain of development. Now, development is where we are talking of softer aspects of personality, of leadership, of ownership, and a lot of other areas. Now, these need to start working from a conscious or start seeding from a conscious to a subconscious level, and then start operating from a subconscious level to a conscious habit over a period of time. In some students, it happens in 3 to 6 months. In some students, it happens with 1 or 2 years. In some students, it might take 5 or 10 years. In some students, it might take a lot more time. Okay, so the outcomes that parents have come back and told me they've seen is in terms of greater confidence, being very okay with who they are, being very aware of what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are. And couple of parents have come back and said that my introverted child has now started raising hands in grabbing opportunities when they come in a school setup or an athletic setup, which earlier there is no way they could have, or they didn't do it. At least till then they didn't do it. So all that is the database input that I get for parents who come and give the feedback. But largely I function only by word of mouth. I don't spend marketing dollars or advertising dollars. And in the fifth year, we are serving more students and parents than what we were in the fourth, where you're serving more than what you're servicing in third. So largely, I guess parents are happy when they're referring to other parents to come to us.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so in your website, it says that you mentored 15,000 students. Can you tell us the split about of in which year, how many students there were?
So this is largely the journey from 2000 to 2003 to 2019, where there were maximum number of students which were serviced. Now, these were students who were helped in group discussions, who were helped in mock personal interviews, who were helped in taking the verbal ability, the logical reasoning, the critical thinking sessions as a part of the test prep. These were workshops, 2 day workshops, 2 day full-time workshops being taken at different locations, the part of the earlier profile. So a lot of them come from the MBA test prep days. In the current avatar, in the last 4.5, 5 years, the numbers will be slightly smaller simply because I am involved in all delivery every hour on a sustained basis. So it is humanly impossible to do justice to 15,000 students in such a short span of time, doing everything alone, where we have year-long programs where everything is done by me. So yes, so largely the 15,000 students start from 2002 to 2003 in different test prep segments. Moving on to the EdTech scenario where we used to have webinars and workshops of 500 students at one go at different points of time.
Yeah, adding on to the fact that the leadership coaching industry as a whole is very human reliant. Now, I want to ask, since we're in the year 2025, there'll obviously be a question raised about AI in your field. Are you afraid in any sense that AI might take over your job?
So I get this question from parents, especially in career counseling, who say that give us a career which is AI proof. Okay, I want my child to get into a career which is not going to become redundant, because computer science and programming was hot up until 5 years back. Today, people are thinking twice, thrice before even uh, opting for it. Having said that, the number one choice in IITs today for top rankers in IIT JEE is still computer science. Okay, so there's a little bit of dichotomy here. So even parents come and tell me that I tell them that I don't even know. After 3 years, you might not be talking to a career counselor or leadership coach or a personal mentor. You might have a bot or a chat GPT equivalent talking to you. Having said that, Pratham, do understand that humans, especially India, is a touch and feel country, and we do need people to talk to, live people who will relate to at uh, at an if I can say at an energy level or at a perceptual level, where I don't know if machines will be able to reach that in the next 100 years. So in terms of these so repeatable tasks, things which are cookie cutter approach, run of the mill, will always be taken up by machines. I remember when I was in college, I was in NM college, we had the aptechs and the NIITs coming in, and a lot of repetitive tasks were outsourced to programs that time. Okay, but that does not mean that jobs or careers have vanished. They've only multiplied. You just need to be at the next level of growth, move up, do a few programs, do your courses, and grow there. So, if you ask me, AI is a big boon to me. I'm very, very happy that AI has come in. I'm extremely excited about this. And I think the need for personalization in approach is only going to go up. So there's going to be these large companies with billion-dollar valuations or VC funded companies in education who will want to create a model which is make once and distribute forever, as they call it in the business parlance. In a way, I have experienced it in the earlier edtech company that we worked in. But there are fundamental level challenges to replicate and just multiply everything, where there's a one tutor and there are 1 lakh students sitting, or one leader and there are 10,000 students understanding. You need a lot of personalization in the approach, where the human touch, in my limited understanding and knowledge, is not going anywhere.
Yeah. Okay, so are you integrating AI in any way into Edupathwayz?
Sorry, I didn't get that question. Are you integrating?
AI into any step of the leadership program or any other program at Edupathwayz?
So my programs, if you see, the leadership coaching program is actually called as leadership through self mastery. The idea is that before you go out and lead other people, gain understanding and mastery over yourself, and therefore you will be a much effective, much better leader, where people will listen to you and you will be able to lead more effectively, emphatically. So all these are more driven by exercises, interactivity, participation that emerges in the classroom. In a small way, I've incorporated AI to tabulate the score. So we have done a lot of tests, right? We've done the REST test, and we've done the Johari window, and we've done the locus of control, where I've incorporated to help me at the back end. But otherwise, I don't see in the domain that I am in too much of application of AI as of now. I have to be very wary of AI in the Mastering English program. So, as you know, I also run a year-long Mastering English program where students are a part of. And a lot of students are asked to write the book reviews based on the bestsellers that they've read. And a chat GPT or an LLM driven write up stands out from a human driven write up, right? So I have to be slightly more wary of anybody using that and submitting it in the classroom. So that's where AI becomes a little bit of a flag to be taken care of. Otherwise, at this juncture, at least, I don't see AI replicating or being used extensively in any part of the delivery, because again, it is personalization. It is delivery live in person, either online or face to face, but it's still personalization, which is at the heart of all delivery that we do.
Okay. So along with this, are there any other concrete skills that every leadership coach needs? What are some skills that a good leadership coach has?
Sorry, so you're talking of leadership coaching skills from the point of view of the coach or from the point of view of the person who's
From the coach,
undergoing the program?
from the coach. If say if you were to recommend a base set of skills for a new leadership coach, what would those skills be?
So, so fundamentally, the coach needs to be interested that the person I'm coaching should move to the next level. Okay, it's not a job where I have a 1.5 hour session, I've delivered the session, it is done, dusted. There has to be follow-ups, there have to be interactions outside the classroom with the students or with the parents. Like we'll have module 1 interaction with the parents now, where we showcase them what you've gone through. So the coach has to be fundamentally invested in at a personality level to ensure that the student who comes to him or her is growing and is moving ahead. He's not simply going through the motions of attending the session. Okay. Second, the coach should have an understanding of what triggers what responses in which kinds of people. And this does not come by reading books. This does not come by attending seminars. This comes through years of experience of dealing with a lot of people, dealing with a lot of students, dealing with a lot of human interactions in different varieties, different forms, in different roles and responsibilities. That's the second thing. Third thing is the coach himself or herself should have gone through some form of very potent leadership positions, responsibilities, roles to know what requires to be delivered to the person on the other side. Okay. And fifth, finally, is the coach should enjoy this experience and journey. It's only when the coach enjoys it is when the people who come for coaching will enjoy.
All right, it's very admirable that you have such a deep understanding of or how to become a good leadership coach since you already are one. Well, so I wanted to ask you, how do you, are there any other skills that you like this that you add to your mastering English programs or your personal mentorship programs?
So, Mastering English program again is a program which focuses on the incorporating the reading skills in students, because reading today more and more is becoming um, an extra post to do core for students. So the bigger challenge I face in Mastering English program, which parents have also faced and they've come to me for that, is kids just don't read. Whatever is given to them in school, they do it somehow, but outside of that, that pleasure of reading, the love of reading is becoming a dying art, or a dying form of go-to place, because uh, Insta, YouTube is very readily available, right? There's entertainment is very readily available in the audiovisual format. So the challenge is to inculcate reading habits. We do a lot of exercises to do that. Students read New York Times bestsellers and come and do a book review in the class. They're supposed to give 5-star rating on that, a 4 on 5, 3 on 5. Why have they given a 3 on 5? They need to justify in the book review, assuming that people will decide to pick up or not pick up the book basis their review. So they are an expert giving a review. So that is one aspect that we focus on, which is reading skills. Once reading skills, and it runs parallelly throughout the year for the program. Parallel to that is we do compare and contrast of passages, which a lot of international curriculums really focus on, right? Your ability to synthesize data and chop it down and analyze them in bits and pieces. So compare and contrast, synthesis analysis is other area that we work on for mastering English program. Third is the basic building blocks of any language, which is spelling, punctuation, grammar, vocabulary. So in the age of Grammarly and auto spell check, students struggle with the right spelling. So the idea of incorporating the right sentence structure, syntax, vocabulary for the right occasion is what we focus on. And the fourth, most importantly, is writing. Right from descriptive to narrative to creative to persuasive to any form of writing. Analysis of text that you get. How do you become better at it no matter what form it comes? So the focus of mastering English is to incorporate all these things at a skill level. So it's not limited to just academics. Tomorrow you'll write an SOP or motivation letter or essays, or you go to universities after an admit, and you'll need to get into good forms of writing. So that becomes more like a skill which you are able to convert into tangible outcomes over a period of time. That's mastering English program. A personal mentoring is completely customized and personalized basis what the parent and the students want. And we work through interventions. I suggest parents, we structure a few sessions, basis what the requirement is, and we work on the student outcomes. So I'll give you an example. There's a girl in Kandivali in Mumbai. She is a swimmer. She faces challenges with respect to handling her academics with her swimming tasks. So how to get a balance on both the things? Sometimes she used to freeze when she was on this pool about to jump, looking at the competition to manage the nerves, gain that confidence. All these areas is what we worked on. There's another girl from Mayo Girls, Ajmer, from Assam. So handling her choices with time management, focusing on how to prioritize things, how to decide on what to focus on now, what to focus on later. So there are certain interventions that are structured basis what is the requirement, and after every session there is some follow up that happens, and we grow from there. So that's personal mentoring for you. Profile building is something where you're very clearly looking at typically private university admits in India, the likes of Ashoka, Flame, Kriya, Plaksha, Shivnadar, Azim Premji, and there's a list of 100 universities that we have, right? So profile building requires 10, 11 things apart from the entrance test. So how do we prepare? How do we project a fantastic profile? If you look at the Ashoka University form, there are 8 to 10 essays that you need to write just in that application form for a 4-year undergraduate program. Now, you might feel that I write an essay in 30 minutes. What's the big deal? I'll finish all the essays in 2 days. But usually it takes anywhere from 4 weeks to 12 to 16 weeks of iteration, reiteration, reiteration, because you want to showcase your candidature in the best form and light over there. So there are certain tenets that we look at for the application forms over here in profile building. That is what we do. So different programs require different focus and different approach. But largely, if you see a common thread across all programs, it's to help amplify academic success, personal success, and eventually professional success of 10 to 19-year-olds.
Okay, okay. So you're obviously very deeply knowledgeable about these types of coaching, personal mentorship, English, leadership, and even profile building. So which was the first one that you really got into, and where did the other three follow?
So when I thought of starting on my own, leadership coaching is what I frankly started with. I felt it will have the maximum impact on the students and their growth. I literally spent 3 months on structuring the program. I don't know if there is a similar program anywhere in the country or for that matter in the world, the way we've structured it for students. So yeah, it started with leadership coaching. Career counseling was the need of the hour from parents and students. So I was doing it informally already earlier. Now I just have a very clearly articulated formal structure. There are 3 or 4 sessions that we spend with parents. There's detailed psychometric assessment report, action plan on what should be done, what universities, what entrance tests, what are the kinds of things that will need to be done. And there's about 6 to 8 hours of intervention from my side for every student in the career counseling program. But yeah, it started really from leadership coaching, and then career counseling and personal mentoring were logically the other things that would help students.
Okay, stepping out from the technical side of things, can we hear a day in the life of Mr. Rahul Zaveri as a leadership coach?
So there is no particular day, Pratham. There is no set pattern. As an entrepreneur or a person who delivers all the programs himself, uh, parents always want to talk to me before they enroll. So a lot of time is spent talking to parents who have already enrolled or parents who are new, who are inquiring for enrolling in the program. I spend a lot of time on content also. I believe content and dishing out the right forms of information to students and parents is important. So every day about 1.5 2 hours goes on structuring content for various things, including the social media platforms that I run. I also have small WhatsApp groups with parents and etc. And also the mastering English program requires every day I share a new learning in the group. Every single day, every student is learning something new, either on grammar or vocabulary. Same with leadership coaching. I believe you're a part of the Edupathwayz knowledge group where there is something new which is shared every day. So sometimes there is some conversation in leadership coaching, but mastering English, the students are expected to answer those prompts every day. 2 3 minutes. It doesn't take too much time. Uh, so content creation takes a lot of time. Interacting with parents takes time. Researching on new things that are coming up take up time. And of course, about 8 to 10 hours of delivery, delivering counseling, delivering the various programs that we have. So overall, I end up working about anywhere from 13 hours to 16, 17 hours a day. But I enjoy doing this. This is something that I will do it irrespective of where I am, what I do, and it gives me a lot of pleasure to interact with the young students.
Okay, so that's quite a lot of time in the day just gone into preparing the content. And now, aside from that, you're also taking classes by yourself.
Yeah.
So, purely from a business standpoint, how do you uh, differentiate time for research vis-a-vis time for sessions? As a business owner, would it would be beneficial to have as many sessions as possible, but for the quality of those sessions to increase, you'll have to research. So, where do you find that balance?
Yeah. So see, I have students from a lot of countries. Parents also logging in from a lot of countries. So we have a few students from Middle East. There are students from Hong Kong, Singapore. I have one batch in Australia right now. Uh, I have, but largely students are from India. Okay, so if you look at the time where students come back home from school, typically my batches start from 4:30 in the evening, and then career counseling and other things go up right up to about 11:30, 12 in the night. So outside of this time span that we have, all the time is available for research coordination and everything else. Saturdays, Sundays get heavy because students are free, parents are free. So Saturdays I keep it online in person. Sundays I keep only online. So Saturday, Sundays tend to get heavy. So largely the research content creation happens between Monday and Friday, mornings and post lunch is where but again, there's no timetable. There is no clearly articulated time saying, okay, it's 9 in the morning. Now I'm going to do this from 9 to 11 and that from 11 to 1. It doesn't work like that, nor would I like to do like that. It's a lot of what has come about now. Let me go and jump into it. And there are times where I have deep dived into research for 8 hours straight. And there are times where I've not been able to research for days at end, and which is okay. That's a part and parcel of growing. So your question is very potent. That will become real if I am occupied for, let's say, 16 hours a day delivering, but that's necessarily not the case or the criteria right now. The delivery is happening for about 6 to 8 hours a day on weekdays, so it leaves a lot of time.
Hmm. So this already sounds like a very, very stressful routine, having to research for multiple hours and then take lessons for multiple hours. So was there any time you wanted to quit this whole leadership thing?
No, no, I will. As I told you, I enjoy this. This is if you've read the book Ikigai, and if you haven't, I would strongly recommend you do read. There's a book called Ikigai for teenagers. At least I recommend it to all my career counseling students who come to me. So please do read it. So the model has four different things which are important to live a very long and happy life, frictionless life to a large extent. One is what you're good at. One is what you enjoy or what you love doing. Third is there is a sense of purpose. You're making a difference to the lives of people. And fourth is you're being paid for what you do. When all four of these coincide is when we say there is ikigai, which is a Japanese term for reason for being. What is my reason for being? Why I've come on this earth? So I believe this is my ikigai, where I enjoy doing it. Okay, I believe I'm reasonably all right at it. Uh, Enrollment suggests parents are happy with the outcomes. I believe I'm making a fundamental difference to the lives of the students, and by that to the world in the near future when they move out in the business space or the corporate space. And I'm quite happy with the kind of bread and butter I'm making out of this. So I wouldn't want to change it for anything in the world unless there is some event or something else happens. But at this point of time, I don't think I'm changing this. There might be more programs getting added to what I'm doing. The team might expand where more people will come in for delivery. That might happen in future. But this is something that I would, if I can say, I would want to die doing.
Wow, okay. So why should, as you said, your goal in life is to do this leadership coaching. How will it impact the student's life if they take your course or say just any leadership in general?
So it's not just leadership coaching, right? It's also personal mentoring, it's also profile building, it's also mastering English, it's also career counseling. So I'm running 5 programs right now. We just discussed all 5 right now. So whichever program they enroll in, there is a 23 years of experience, 15,000 students, handling 15,000 students, mentoring, coaching, counseling coming into the picture over here. And I'm very passionate about what I do. I believe I'm able to pass on that passion to all the people I meet up in whatever we are doing. Uh, Largely, the idea is, as I told you, is to help every student find his or her ikigai. And every program in different ways is arming them to move closer to their ikigai. It might happen today, it might happen in a few weeks, few months, few years. But the idea is go and do what you enjoy doing. If you enjoy this, but if you don't have the skills, okay, come to me for mastering English. If you enjoy this, but you think you lack in these areas, okay, come to me for leadership coaching. All the programs are tying in, going back to what we discussed earlier, to amplify the academic, personal, and eventually professional growth of the students. So that's the idea of all the programs, right? Career counseling is to help you identify the best match career where you'll enjoy, you learn in the domain that your natural aptitude, interest, personality, emotion quotient, orientation style is. And then you map a journey and action plan where you meaningfully move towards a great university, a great learning environment, and then the career picks up from there. So everything is geared towards amplifying the fundamental tenets, what also parents want for the children, right? They want the kids to be happy. They want the kids to be successful. These are the two words that you hear from parents. Happiness, they will take care of. Success is perhaps where I come into picture along with them.
Okay, so as you said, your goal is to bring Ikigai to these students. So those are the people listening whose Ikigai as like you is to become a leadership coach or an English coach or any other coaching in general, what are the recommendations you would give him?
Go do what you enjoy doing, explore the world. Okay, when I finished my BCom, I didn't know I was going to do MBA marketing. When I finished my MBA marketing, I didn't know that I was going to become a verbal ability faculty for CAT or teaching group discussions, personal interview to students. When I was doing that, I didn't know that I was going to be a content writer in an EdTech company. When I joined as a content writer in an EdTech company, I didn't know I was going to become a business head. When I became the business head, I didn't know I was going to go to Australia for PhD. So things will unfold in life. Okay. And I've seen a lot of students where things have fundamentally unfolded and changed. The important thing, Pratham, is go and experience whatever you can around you, which is one, legal, and two, which is within the framework and the boundary of morals and ethics that agree with you and your family. Within these two things, go and explore anything and everything, whether in your local suburb, local area, whether in your city, whether in your state, whether in your country, or if opportunity is given to you overseas. The more you open yourself to different learning environments, the more you open and expose yourself to a lot of areas, a lot of things, the richer you will become in your exposure and experience, and then you will move closer to identifying what is it that I eventually want to do in life. So to answer your question, to for a budding leadership coach, for a budding mastering English a coach, just go and do what you enjoy doing. Keep learning. Keep your eyes and mind open. Don't refrain from doing the work that requires to be done, and be in the domain which you enjoy. Today you might enjoy this. Tomorrow you will grow to enjoy something else. 30 years down the line, you might grow to enjoy something completely different. But the important thing is that the exploration should continue.
All right, I think we can. Oh, yes. So this was Rahul, Mr. Rahul Zaveri, a leadership coach, a personal mentorship coach, an English coach, and much more as we had discussed today. Thank you for coming. Thank you for doing this podcast. And
Thank you, Pratham. Thank you for the opportunity. As you said you want to do this, I was very happy. More so because as we started with, you're a leadership student undergoing the leadership coaching program right now, and this is my small way of contributing to your journey. You said this is your first podcast.